Alrighty, those were all the stories that we needed to talk about for today, so let's head over to our NFL training camp narratives to watch for now that preseason has kind of wrapped up, now that training camp is basically over. We're a week removed from the start of the NFL season for Thursday Night Football come next week, so let's see, did these teams kind of accomplish or achieve things, goals, narratives that we kind of set for them? Can we feel a little bit better about these teams that did hit their goals and narratives, and should we be kind of falling off the teams that we still don't really know? They didn't really answer the questions that we had on them. So we've been kind of going through division by division, and we're trying to finish these up quickly here. So let's continue rolling with the NFC South here with the Packers, Bears, Vikings, and Lions. NFC North, excuse me. So here we go. Packers, our narratives for the start of training camp were, does Aaron Rodgers show up and win? Well, yes, he did show up, and he showed up first day? Was it first day? Real early on, whatever it was. But Aaron Rodgers is here. There's no more, really doesn't seem to be any beef between them. He's getting along. He's posting videos. Everyone's posting pictures. Everyone's saying, hey, there's been great communication. So great. Aaron Rodgers is 100% in the moment here of Green Bay. We love to hear it. All right, another narrative. If and when he shows up, how is the overall chemistry of the team? Well, we just saw this picture today. All smiles, hanging off of Matt LaFleur. The general manager, Brian Gutekunst, says, hey, we've been having great talks. So overall, Aaron Rodgers isn't kind of seeming like he's holding the locker room hostage or the team hostage, like it's my way or the highway. If I don't get what I want, I'm not going to play, or I'm not going to put all the energy into it. It's seeming to be like Aaron Rodgers is playing like classic Aaron Rodgers. So that's great. Next narrative, how does Matt LaFleur handle the offseason digs and maintain an overall happy atmosphere? Once again, we haven't really seen too much insight on that just because we don't have the cameras in the locker room like we do in Hard Knocks, where we can kind of extrapolate how the locker room and the coaches are all going. But Matt LaFleur is smiling in this picture, or maybe wincing because of the sun or whatever it is, but there's a little bit of a grin. So seems like it's good. So not bad here by the Packers. Aaron Rodgers not holding the team hostage, looking good. He's present. They're ready to move on. Everybody's communicating. Everybody's kind of talking everything through. And this Packers team should be back on the radar of potential Super Bowl contenders. Now, the start of the season is going to be real interesting. If they flounder, does it all unravel? Because that's definitely a big possibility. But if everything's going good, they start like 7-8-0. Everything is sunshine and rainbow still because there has been no adversity. It's going to be interesting when the adversity shows up. Who's taking blame, who's taking digs, who's taking responsibility, all of that, who's pointing on the blame and all that. So we'll see how long this can keep up for. But so far, the training camp, the locker room, the atmosphere has been seeming to be good. Good. Great? Good? We'll keep it at good. All right, the Bears now. Our narratives for the Bears at the start of the training camp. When does Justin Fields win the starting job? Well, unfortunately, he hasn't. That's not our decision. That's the general manager, Ryan Pace, feeling confidence in Andy Dalton, whatever that means, because he didn't explain it to us. He just said we have confidence in Andy Dalton. He kind of said it a couple of times. So, unfortunate. Justin Fields has not won the starting job just quite yet. Still a week and a half. So, we'll see if he wins the starting job by then. I don't think so, but unfortunate. Truly, truly unfortunate. Big strike on us for thinking he would. Damn it, Justin. It's not even Justin's fault. It's Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. It's like, what the hell are y'all doing? Just make the switch. It's not that hard. Who cares about Andy Dalton? No disrespect to Andy Dalton, but who cares about Andy Dalton? Only Andy Dalton and his wife. That's it. Jeez. Okay. All right, our next narrative. Matt Nagy, is he handling the stress of a do-or-die season well? I don't know. I mean, we've seen him play calling, not the best, but it's preseason. You can't really take it at full face value. He's still rocking with the promise that he made of Andy Dalton, so he's worried about a promise over, him getting fired and him kind of having a do-or-die season. So I guess he's handling the stress of that decently, but I don't think he's making the right decisions. All right. And do the Bears go out and get a free agent wide receiver? Just because we don't love the overall depth at wide receiver, we're big fans about Allen Robinson just because he made Mitch Trubisky look good, and that's pretty gosh dang good. But, I mean, when we're looking at everything else in this Bears depth chart at the wide receiver position, It's just lackluster overall. Darnell Mooney, Marquise Goodwin, he should be solid there. And then Damiere Byrd, Brashad Perryman. I mean, they have the ability to be solid. We just don't know if these aren't like A1, tier 1 wide receivers. These are all kind of solid tier 2-ish wide receivers. So they're not that deep. And once again, just playing into Andy Dalton. Is Andy Dalton going to be able to elevate and work with these stars? Potential stars? We'll see. So they did not get a free agent wide receiver to kind of bolster up their wide receiver room. All right, let's talk about the Vikings. Our narratives for the Vikings were establish an identity offensively. Did they do that? Kirk Cousins was looking decent. He played the majority of the preseason games, a couple of series in them. He was moving the ball decently, a lot better than what the backups were doing. Kellen Munn really couldn't do anything. But I'm not 100% sold on Kirk Cousins and the offense overall. So they really didn't establish the identity early on here in preseason, and it's hard to do that. So we are going to have to kind of take this narrative into the regular season still. The defense must be a 1,000,000,000% better. Now, was the defense a little bit better? Because we know it was atrocious last season. It was, we have the quote from Mike Zimmer saying this is the worst defense he's ever had. So let's see what this kind of Vikings defense was in the preseason. And I know we have to take it with all a grain of salt and all that, but if you're coaching up the second and third string guys as, coaching defenders and defender coaches and all that, that's a good sign of what the starters are going to be doing. So let's see what the kind of the point totals were for this Vikings team in preseason. So preseason game number 1, they gave up 33 points. Not the greatest defense out there. Preseason game number 2 against the Colts, they only gave up 12. That was real good, and they only gave up field goals in that game, so that's solid. And then preseason game number 3, they gave up 28 points against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes was playing, and he still torched them. Patrick Mahomes puts up 2 passing touchdowns, so that's not great. That's not great either. So the defense, still a little bit of a question mark here for the Vikings. Hopefully Patrick Peterson can kind of, shore it up a little bit, but still, at the end of preseason, we still don't know what the hell this Vikings team is, folks. So didn't really answer anything here. Unfortunate. And then the last team to talk about here for the NFC North is the Lions. Our narratives were Dan Campbell. Can he coach? He hasn't really done anything great. He was running, I think it was like running stairs or something, or is that Robert Saleh? It might have been Robert Saleh. Running stairs before the game. I guess. I don't know if that really motivates everybody. I don't know. But Dan Campbell, can he coach? It's still nothing great. Penei Sewell is still kind of not looking good, and that was kind of his first big pick, his first big decision as a head coach. Who do we go after in the draft? And Penei Sewell is still not panning out. He's getting burned a lot of the time on the offensive line. Hasn't really shown me anything great coaching-wise, saying anything. At the press conference, we know all the stunts and like early on in training camp, with, his first initial speech of, hey, I'm not going to wipe your butt, and then wearing the motorcycle helmet and all that. So we're still not totally sure this man can coach still. Not great. Did he win any preseason games? That could kind of tell us if he can coach. I mean, you still got to win games. I mean, these are still games that should be won. I mean, yeah, the starters aren't taking them seriously, but the second and third and fourth strings and everybody else that's competing for a job is still putting in all the work, so you still need to coach and win the game. I know it doesn't mean anything in the regular season, but it's still a game that you still want to win. Nobody wants to lose even a preseason game. So let's see what this Lions team did. They lost the first game close, 16-15 against the Bills, but they gave up like a last-second touchdown or a last-second score, last-second big throw that ended up leading to a last-second field goal. So down the stretch, coaching-wise, hey, there's a minute left. We're up. Hey, defense, that's all fighting for your jobs. Go and get it done. And we know Dan Campbell's kind of a defensive-minded kind of coach, kind of an tight end, kind of, a big kind of, I don't want to call him a musclehead, but that kind of type of coach. And that's kind of what defense is. So not great there. Preseason game number 2. We get Dan Campbell and the Lions. Where are they at? Preseason game number 2. They lose against the Steelers 20-26, another loss. And then preseason game number 3, we get the Lions losing against the Colts, and they were at home 27-17. So he didn't win a preseason game. I know it's not the best gauge, but I mean, of everything we've seen, you could have at least won one. So no, he can't coach. I guess we've figured that out. Jared Goff, can he play quarterback? Well, that's still determined, and he didn't play a lot in the preseason. I don't even know. I think he did play in the first game. Let's quickly look at his stats quickly here. Jared Goff, preseason game number 1, 7 of 9 for only 56 yards, no touchdown, no interception. Preseason game number 2 against the Steelers, Jared Goff doesn't play. And doesn't play number 3 either, I do not believe. And Jared Goff did not play in preseason game number 3 either. So we still are, the question mark on Jared Goff here, which is not good. We don't want question marks going into the season. But we have a question mark on Dan Campbell, and we have a question mark on Jared Goff. And Deandre Swift, year 2. Once again, he was we haven't really heard a lot of noise from the Lions. Who was there other? There was another running back on this Lions team that was kind of getting it a little bit done, getting it done a little bit more than Deandre Swift was. We got the Jamal Williams kind of providing a little bit better of a spark so far in preseason. So that's not the best look here for Deandre Swift, the rookie from last season. So Deandre Swift didn't really kind of shatter anything here in preseason, which is definitely not great, as he was kind of catching his stride at the end of last season, and we were kind of hoping it was going to transpire into the start of the early part this season. But yeah, so far, I don't even think we've seen Deandre Swift out there, honestly. So, yeah, Deandre Swift, big question marks on everything, folks. Coach, starting quarterback, starting running back, big question marks everywhere. That is not what we want to be for this Lions team. So, we can expect this Lions team to be trash this year, but we all kind of knew that anyway. So, we are not any better, any bigger on this Lions team. How unfortunate.